I should have known. Something was off the moment I arrived. The town was supposed to be abandoned, left to rot after a chemical spill years ago. No one lived here. At least, no one was supposed to. But as I pulled my truck onto the cracked main road, past the rusted-out gas station and the faded diner sign that creaked in the wind, I felt something watching me. It was that feeling, that crawling sensation on the back of my neck. You know, the one you get when you realize you're not as alone as you thought. But let me back up. I took this job because it paid well. Too well, honestly. A private firm needed someone to do overnight security sweeps through the town. Just drive through, check for squatters, report anything unusual. Simple, right? Well, I should have asked more questions. The first night started easy. I drove past rows of empty houses, their windows dark and hollow. The wind whispered through the trees, rustling brittle leaves across cracked sidewalks. Streetlights still stood, but they flickered erratically, as if unsure whether to give in to the decay. Then, around 1 a.m., my radio crackled. A voice, garbled, barely a whisper. My heart skipped. "Hello?" I said, adjusting the frequency. Static. Then, just as I was about to switch it off, I heard it again. Wrong place. I felt a cold sweat bead on my forehead. "Who is this?" I demanded. Silence. Just the empty hum of dead air. I tried to shake it off. Maybe it was a stray signal, interference or something like that. Maybe I was just tired. But then, I saw something in my headlights. A figure, at the end of the street, standing between two abandoned houses. I hit the brakes. A woman. She stood motionless, her head tilted just slightly. Her hair, long and matted, clung to her face like it was wet. But the thing that made my stomach drop? She wasn't casting a shadow. I swallowed hard, blinking, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. But the moment I reached for my flashlight, she was gone. Just gone. I don't remember driving back to the security outpost. My hands shook the entire way, knuckles white against the wheel. I told myself it was just my mind playing tricks. Stress, isolation. The human brain does weird things in places like this. But the next night, it got worse. I made my rounds again, convincing myself I'd imagined everything. But then, as I passed the old grocery store, something in my rearview mirror made my stomach lurch. There were people, rows of them, standing in the store's shattered windows, watching me. I slammed the brakes, my breath hitched in my throat. Slowly, I turned my head to look directly. Nothing. The windows were empty, but I knew what I saw. I floored it, speeding back to the outpost. I didn't care about protocol. I needed to talk to my supervisor to demand answers. But when I got there, the tiny station was dark, empty. The power was out, the radios were dead, and my truck wouldn't start. That's when I heard the knocking, slow, deliberate, not on the door, from inside the building. I stood frozen, my breath shallow, my heart slamming against my ribs. Then, in the dim glow of my flashlight, I saw it, a shape, behind the frosted window of the office door. Tall, too tall. It pressed against the glass, fingers dragging slowly down, leaving streaks. I stumbled backwards, my mind screaming at me to run. But before I could, the door handle twisted. Click. The door creaked open an inch. A single eye stared through the gap, wide, unblinking. And then, in a voice that scraped like rusted metal, "You shouldn't be here." That was when I ran. I don't remember much after that, just flashes. The pounding of my feet on cracked pavement, the suffocating darkness between the streetlights, the feeling, oh God, the feeling of something right behind me. I must have blacked out, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up in my truck, parked just outside town. The engine was running, My radio was back online. A new message blinked in the screen. Assignment complete. Do not return. I didn't need to be told twice. I don't know what I saw in that town. I don't want to know. But sometimes, late at night, when I close my eyes, I still see that shape in the office window. I still hear that voice. And I wonder, if I'd stayed one more night, would I have ever left at all?